Good evening, I'm Bruce Frisco. Todd Battis is off tonight. It is Monday, the 6th of October. This is CTV News. Tonight, feeling the heat, community supports firefighters in the ongoing wildfire battle. The fight for Softwood. New Brunswickers urge the PM to chip away at the Trump tariffs.
Fall heat for much of the region again tomorrow. Temperatures cool with rain on Wednesday.
Live from our Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News at 6. Here is Bruce Frisco.
Good evening. A trial is underway for a Halifax bouncer accused of manslaughter and criminal negligence causing death outside the bar. Ryan Sawyer died after an altercation that occurred in the early morning hours of Christmas Eve in 2022. CTV's Callum Smith was in the court as the trial began today, and some key witnesses took the witness stand. Callum.
Yeah, that's right, Bruce. One of those witnesses, Kyle Sawyer, told the trial he and his twin brother, Ryan, spent the night out with family and friends December 23rd, 2022, including watching a hockey game and going to several bars. He said sometime after midnight, now into Christmas Eve, they found themselves at the now shuttered Halifax Ale House. He said throughout the night, the two of them had about 8 to 10 drinks each. Kyle Sawyer described the alehouse interaction, which started with an unpleasant encounter with the man on trial, Alexander Levy, who was working as security at the door. Then, after their cousin got them drinks, they made their way upstairs. Kyle said that's when he bumped into someone and spilled his beer on them. He exchanged words with the person before pushing them. Shortly after, a bouncer told them they had to leave, and that's when things took a turn for the worse. Security video showed after he and his brother were escorted outside, Kyle turned around, took his jacket off, and testified he had a verbal altercation with Levy. Video shows Ryan then quickly approached Levy. When Kyle testified, Levy said something he wasn't happy about, so he pushed Levy. Bouncers responded quickly, but the bulk of the struggles were outside the security footage frame. So several Halifax police officers took the stand as well, including Constable Jairus Lamphere. He was dispatched at 1:16 a.m. and he and another officer came upon two bouncers restraining two people on the ground. He went to Ryan Sawyer and immediately knew something was wrong. Lamphere told the trial Sawyer was in a chokehold, not moving, fighting back, or struggling, and that his face was purple. He testified Levy's forearm was compressed against Sawyer's neck and that Levy didn't respond to verbal commands to stop. He testified he removed Levy's arms and couldn't find a pulse on Sawyer. Now, testimony continues tomorrow with a slew of witnesses expected to take the stand, including paramedics, the Sawyer's cousin, and perhaps the deputy chief medical examiner. Bruce.
All right. Thank you, Callum. CTV's Callum Smith reporting live tonight from the news center. Well, it's not exactly good news on this hot summer-like day. The Lake George wildfire is still burning and still considered out of control. Today's warm weather hasn't been helpful to firefighters, but they are getting plenty of community support in their ongoing work. Here's CTV's Jonathan McGuinness.
Whatever fire crews need to refuel their bodies or to heal them is available.
Visine, their eyes get smoky, their back aches because it's a long day, their hands get sore, they need cream, they have colds, so cough drops.
It's all at the Morristown Community Center, now a command post for the Department of Natural Resources as they continue to battle the Lake George fire, which has now consumed 288 hectares.
It's just dry. It's very dry. We have no relief from the weather. The wind, of course, is going to be up this afternoon as well, which is, with the wind and the heat, makes it very difficult to get down this fire.
40 crews from BC are in the woods now alongside Nova Scotia firefighters. Helping from the air are planes from the Northwest Territories and Newfoundland and Labrador.
The next 2 days will probably be challenging with the weather conditions we're experiencing.
Meaning this community center will continue to play an important role. Allison Woodworth stopped in this afternoon with a donation.
It's just a way of saying thank you. Once you get to my age, there's lots of things you can't do anymore. So if you can support in a way you can, then do so.
Debbie Weirs says that's how this community operates.
If I say we needed fruit trays, in less than an hour I had 45 fruit and vegetable trays. Everybody wants to help in some way.
The Lake George fire is still considered out of control, no properties have been damaged and no more evacuations are expected, but they're also not being ruled out. Bruce, this community center turned command center isn't open 24/7, but it's close. Volunteers show up here at about 5:30 in the morning, and these doors stay open until about 10 at night. Debbie Weavers says they'll continue to do that as long as they're needed.
Okay, thank you, John. CTV's Jonathan McGuinness reporting from Morristown, Nova Scotia tonight. Just a reminder, for the latest on the wildfire situation, you can visit our website, ctvnewsatlantic.ca. Well, October traditionally brings cooler air and changing colors, but this year, Maritimers, as we've seen, are still feeling the heat. From sun-soaked tourists to construction crews sweating in the sunshine, it's a fall that feels anything but. CTV's Hafsa Arif has more.
In a season known for sweaters and scarves, this kind of heat feels out of place.
We were trying to get away from the warm weather, and here we are, farther north than we've been in a while, and it's beautiful. It's 80 degrees, but it's not what we were expecting.
While visitors do welcome the surprise, many expected the air to be cool by now.
We brought a bunch of warm clothes. We're heading to Quebec City. We didn't expect a beautiful day like today, but we'll take it.
But not everyone is enjoying the warm temperatures. For those working outdoors, this prolonged heat makes an already demanding job even tougher.
Pretty intense all the time because you're steady moving, picking objects up and putting them down. Right, all the time. It's a steady process.
And beyond the discomfort, there are deeper concerns. The heat is extending drought conditions.
With all the dry weather, we still are experiencing really dry conditions at Lake Major and all our water supplies across the municipality.
Currently, Halifax Water is looking at ways to solve this as these conditions become more common.
The issue at Lake Major is that the pump is really susceptible to these low conditions, so we're working on an alternate solution to get that pump even further into the water so we wouldn't have to deal with this current situation.
While Nova Scotia copes with drought, in New Brunswick, many are taking advantage of the extended warm spell.
It's so pretty that you can see all of the trees and leaves behind you, but then it's warm enough that you can go swimming and you're in the water.
A beautiful fall day, but one that's also reminding Maritimers how unpredictable the seasons have become. Hafsa Arif, CTV News, Halifax.
Now, in tonight's CTV News web poll, we're asking, how do you feel about this hot October weather we've been having? Your options: I love it, I'm over it, or I can take it or leave it. As usual, you can find the poll at ctvnewsatlantic.ca. Here's a live look at Moncton this evening, where it is a balmy 26 degrees. For our first look at the forecast, we'll head over to Kaylin Mitchell. A lot of records fell today, I guess.
Oh, they sure did. We're going to take a look at some of those right now. Just as far as the overall trend goes for temperatures this week, we are going to have to, of course, take this very hot October weather both today and Tuesday, but then we're going to leave it behind by the end of this week, and a cold front coming in on Wednesday will be responsible for that. Taking a look at what the weather setup was for today, I talked a little bit about this last week, but large ridge in the jet stream. Jet stream, faster moving winds higher up in the atmosphere, typically marks the boundary between much cooler air that comes out of the north and much warmer air that flows up from the south. And this ridge pushed that jet stream boundary far up to the north of the Maritimes for today, allowing all that very warm air to build up the eastern seaboard and directly into our region. And of course, combined with sunshine, that was responsible for the soaring temperatures. And we did see many high temperature records set today for an October 6th, up into the high 20s, in some cases low 30s. So far as of 5 p.m., the Maritimes still has the hottest spot in the country as far as Environment Canada monitored weather stations go. That was at Kushapaquak National Park in New Brunswick at 31.1 degrees. So I did see a few personal weather station reports in the region as well. They were up around 31, 32 degrees for today. So new record high temperatures. Tomorrow, not quite as hot, but I still think we'll have a shot at setting some new daily high temperature records on Tuesday as well. Now, temperatures heading to the first part of this evening, aside from coastal areas, are still around the mid to high 20s. Parts of the coast, high teens, low 20s. It is going to be a mild to warm night for the Maritimes. Fog patches developing. I'll talk more about the forecast and back a little bit later on, Bruce.
About 15 minutes, as a matter of fact. Thank you, Kaylin. Full forecast coming up. Well, a national Jewish advocacy group is calling on Ottawa to boost security funding for synagogues across the country as the Jewish community around here prepares to celebrate a week-long harvest festival. Leaders say security is becoming increasingly important and increasingly costly. CTV's Jesse Thomas has more.
It was 3 weeks ago that hateful graffiti was spray painted on all 3 Halifax synagogues. An incident that rattled the Jewish community.
The anti-Semitic graffiti really shook us up. It had a significant emotional impact on our community.
It raised fears of escalating violence like that witnessed in Manchester, England last week, where a deadly attack occurred at a synagogue that left 2 people dead and several others injured. Police there called it a terror-related incident.
Yes, it's in Europe, but it could have been anywhere. It could have been here.
Is forcing Jewish congregations like Shar Shalom here in Halifax to rethink its security plan, and that can be expensive. A national leader in Jewish affairs is calling on the federal government to increase funding for faith groups to ease the financial and emotional toll.
So it's a very serious issue that we have to protect against. We have to protect the safety and security of our people. They have to feel confident that when they attend synagogue or attend a Jewish event, that they're not risking their physical safety.
Halifax police have increased their patrols since the graffiti incident, and that will continue this week as the Jewish community is celebrating a week-long harvest festival.
So we will have an increased police presence, and that's to ensure that members of our community can enjoy their holidays without concern or worry of facing any type of hatred.
Meanwhile, Shar Shalom is applying for a federal security grant that covers up to 70% of a faith group's security expenses, which is becoming a major cost to the congregation of about 150 people.
The more unsafe we feel, the larger the burden.
Last weekend, the synagogue hosted faith leaders, politicians, and community to a No Place for Hate event, a powerful show of unity and call for peace.
Sometimes a terrible moment can lead to actions that can be very constructive and positive.
Jesse Thomas, CTV News, Halifax.
Prime Minister headed south a short time ago to meet U.S. President Donald Trump tomorrow. And while tariffs on steel and aluminum will no doubt be at the top of Mark Carney's list, New Brunswickers are hoping he can chip away at the existing and looming tariffs on softwood lumber. CTV's Laura Brown has more on that.
Tariffs facing the softwood lumber industry in New Brunswick are piling up, already at 35%. Another 10% could be coming next week unless Prime Minister Mark Carney's meeting with President Donald Trump produces some sort of a deal. But optimism isn't high for some in the industry.
I'll be honest, I'm probably the same as a lot of other people. I'm not hopeful. It's not that I don't have confidence in the Prime Minister. I have a total lack of confidence in the President.
A woodlot owner himself, Doucette says the uncertainty of it all has been the most difficult.
And that's the killer. It's a killer with any business, no matter what business you're in. But when you look at processors here in New Brunswick, the equipment costs, you're looking at $1 million for one piece of equipment. And to make that investment in such an uncertain time is unlikely.
To make it clear just how important this industry is to New Brunswick, Premier Susan Holt wrote a letter to Carney ahead of his visit, stating the industry sustains 26,000 jobs in the province and generates about $1 billion in tax revenues. To safeguard jobs, communities, and the broader economy, I urge your government to make finding a resolution a top priority in Canada's engagement with the United States.
It's like Mr. Trump had a bad dream where he was being chased by sofas and kitchen cabinets.
A 25% tariff on finished wood products is also on the table. That could go up to 50% in the new year. 20% of Glenwood Kitchen's business in Shediac comes from the U.S.
A 25% tariff, we potentially can help each other out and we can get through it. But a 50% tariff is going to wipe out our business completely. So as of January 1st, we project if the 50% tariff is implemented, that our U.S. business will be gone completely.
He says there will be a surplus of kitchen cabinets in Canada if this goes ahead, which will hurt the manufacturing industry that employs a lot of people. Laura Brown, CTV News, Fredericton.
Another loss in the retail landscape, and HRM to tell you about tonight. Like many others, the store in Dartmouth has been struggling to deal with tariffs and rising costs. CTV's Vanessa Wright has the story.
John Connors has owned his sneaker store, East Coast Kicks, for 7 years. Whether it was COVID, tariffs, or postal strikes, his business has weathered many storms, even a real one 2 years ago that left his Bedford location flooded for weeks. Still, he bounced back, opening up this store in Dartmouth in April 2024. But in a few months from now, he will be closing it down for good.
It was a pretty hard decision. I mean, I've been contemplating it for a while now.
He says the cost of living has made it hard for his customers to splurge on luxury shoes.
People are not picking that and picking other things to spend their money on, and I respect that. I know how everyone's feeling, and I understand it very well.
It's those factors that have forced him to take his store online only, a tough choice many storefronts are facing nationwide.
Well, we're seeing through the optimism of business owners that over the next 3 to 12 months, it's not as rosy as it could be. There's more pessimistic business owners as to the future as there are optimistic business owners.
Though many businesses try to cut costs, it's not always easy.
They're always trying to minimize transferring increased costs, whether it be on insurance, on electricity, on the products that they have to bring in. They're trying to minimize the impact on consumers.
For Connors, closing his physical store will do just that, keep his prices the same, and hopefully cut overhead costs.
We'll still be out in the communities and popping up and bringing our shoes and bringing everything with us, and yeah, I'm sure people will still come and see me at those type of events, and we'll keep the same vibe going until maybe someday I open another one.
Putting his dream of having a storefront on hold just a little longer. Vanessa Wright, CTV News, Dartmouth.
One of the Halifax Harbour bridges was closed over the busy lunch hour today, which caused major traffic delays, as you'd expect. Just before noon, a vehicle caught fire, and that brought traffic to a standstill on the McKay. Bridge was closed for about a half hour while firefighters extinguished the blaze, and then the car was removed a short time later. No word on injuries or a possible cause.
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
Tourism operators from around the globe are in St. John this week for the Atlantic Canada Showcase. The 3-day event is a chance for local operators to grow their brand by marketing themselves to others for possible future investments. CTV's Avery McRae has more.
The peak of the tourism season in St. John is marked by another double cruise ship day, a fitting backdrop for the region's biggest tourism networking event of the year.
We're really excited. We're expecting to have at least 300 buyers, between buyers and sellers, 300 delegates.
The sellers are people looking to grow their business and make more connections, all of whom hail from Atlantic Canada. The buyers come from across Canada, the U.S., and even parts of Europe, eager to expand their footprint on the East Coast. One of those people is Rick Gooding from a company based in the Netherlands, and he's looking for a few things.
Honesty, and you can have a very nice product, but if you're a horrible salesman and not a nice person, say it nicely, then it's not easy to cooperate.
Sellers will have to be on to win over the competition. On Tuesday, pre-arranged speed dating type meetings will occur, giving tourism operators just a few minutes to make a connection and win some business.
Successful showcase for me is not walking out the door with a piece of business in my hand. It's building the awareness with my client, selling Nova Scotia, selling the region of my province, so the operator is able to build itineraries that will encompass our area, encompass my resort, and bring them there for 2 or 3 nights to spend dollars in our local economy.
As for what would deem these next few days a success overall?
Success would be that everybody can build a good connection and have good follow-ups to go back home to and build those rapports and have people come into our provinces.
And Bruce, on top of the main event happening here in St. John, some tourism operators are also taking part in familiarization tours in Atlantic Canada's 4 provinces. Jeanette Dorian says those tours are a huge benefit to local operators who can show what buyers are really getting into that can't always be demonstrated during a chat at the table. Bruce?
Yeah, good point. Thank you, Avery. CTV's Avery McRae reporting from St. John tonight. Okay, still ahead, a bit of fog rolling in this evening, but it should clear out for tomorrow. Kaylin will have those details coming up. Coming up next, though, Game On.
It's really special to have something of our own and this nice.
The only all-girls hockey arena east of Montreal drops the puck on its first season. Details are next. Come on back. It's been years in the making, but now the only all-girls hockey arena east of Montreal has finally dropped the puck on its first season. CTV's Ryan McDonald dropped by over the weekend.
It's a place that has long been called the future home of women's hockey in Cape Breton. And when you step inside, it quickly becomes clear that future is now.
It's really special to have something of our own and this nice.
It's really special because normally we get shortage of ice time and we normally get kicked to the later ice time, so it's really nice to be able just to have like our own ice and be able to come here whenever.
Believed to be the only rink in all of Canada dedicated entirely to women's and girls hockey, the new Keogh Forum at Cape Breton University dropped the puck on its first season over the weekend with an under-15 AAA showcase tournament that brought in teams from across Nova Scotia.
It's finally here, and games are on. The season started.
What helped the idea of an all-girls rink become reality was when the Cape Breton Blizzards spearheaded Sydney's 2022 Kraft Hockeyville win, which came with $250,000 toward arena upgrades. Now that they have a rink of their own, it means no longer having to compete with the boys for ice time.
This is the first year we've ever had a normal schedule. The first year that we ever can, have every team having 2 practices a week if they want to have that. We have the space and ability to do all of it.
This new building, it's like a new arena in an old shell.
The 4-year, $40 million renovation to the old 1987 Canada Games complex also makes this the first arena on Cape Breton and 4th in the province that is fully accessible for sledge hockey.
So we have raised the ice surface, actually, so there's no step down to step on the ice. And so para-athletes, para-hockey players can glide right on their ice, onto the ice from the dressing room.
But the building's main function is to be a place where all things girls are celebrated and skills are developed and honed.
It's just nice to be able to call this place like the home of girls hockey.
A rink of their own, hopefully for decades to come. Ryan McDonald, CTV News, Sydney.
Thank you, Ryan. Coming up next, another warm day ahead for the region. Not quite as warm as today, but this summer-like stretch of weather will continue. Kaylin has all the details coming up next. My, oh my, beautiful colors in this shot taken yesterday in Wolfville. Seems a lot of people are saying, the fall colors are at or near their peak right now. Does that seem right to you?
Yeah, that'd be pretty typical for the Maritimes. About hit our peak early through mid-October, and then after that we tend to be raking up a lot of those leaves off the ground.
We will, yeah, that's right. That's the next step.
Yeah. Let's take a quick look at weather conditions across the country. We'll find out what's coming up for us over the next couple days and the week ahead for the Maritimes. Off in the west, they have some pretty pleasant fall-feeling air in place. We got 16 degrees at Vancouver right now and 13 degrees at Calgary, 14 at Regina. It is cooler through northern areas of Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. Thompson, Manitoba right now sitting at 4 degrees. Up north, mixed sun and cloud at Whitehorse sitting at 13 degrees. Sunshine and 2 at Yellowknife. 0 at Iqaluit at the moment, reporting some precipitation, some light precipitation, possibly in a mixture of a little bit of rain and snow. Heat in place still in parts of southern Ontario. Winds are 29 right now, 27 at Toronto, Ottawa, 28 at Montreal, but not to be outdone. Fredericton this hour sitting at 29 degrees. We've got 25 at Halifax and Charlottetown and 10 at St. John's. Taking a look at our forecast timeline for cloud cover and precipitation for tonight. I guess the biggest thing to watch out for weather-wise tonight will be that I do expect there will be some fog developing during the overnight hours. Now that fog is going to be thickest and most widespread around some coastal areas where that southwest wind is more onshore. That includes the Bay of Fundy coastline in New Brunswick, the southwest coastline of Nova Scotia, and parts of the Atlantic coastline of that province. Now, any fog that is around to start the day for tomorrow will be dissipating as we move from the morning into the afternoon. And Tuesday afternoon for most of the region will be mostly sunny or with a very fair weather mix of sun and cloud, and once again very warm. Now the exception will be parts of the coastline where the southwest wind, which again for tomorrow is going to be sustained 15 to 30 kilometers per hour, maybe with occasional gusts between 30 and 40, is blowing in more directly off of open ocean waters. That could hold the Bay of Fundy coastline in New Brunswick into a high temperature range of around 18 to 22 degrees, and parts of the Atlantic coastline of Nova Scotia with some high temperatures, mostly in the low 20s. Now, temperatures for tonight are going to be quite mild for the Maritimes. Most lows between 10 and 16 degrees. Edmundston in the northwest New Brunswick could get down to around 8. And then very warm for much of the region again on Tuesday. Maybe not quite as hot today, but certainly well above average for early October. Maybe a shot at some more daily record highs being set tomorrow. 24 to 27 across the north of New Brunswick. The central and southern parts of the province, mostly looking at high temperatures around the mid to high 20s, except 18 to 22 on the Bay of Fundy coastline. Prince Edward Island for tomorrow with high temperatures of 22 to 25 degrees. Mostly sunny, a little bit of a breeze out of the southwest. In Cape Breton, high temperatures. In a lot of cases, be around the mid-20s, low 20s in Inverness County, mid-20s for the north shore of mainland Nova Scotia, low 20s on the eastern shore towards the Atlantic coastline, low to mid-20s for northern and central parts of the province. The Annapolis Valley tomorrow, plenty warm with highs near 26, and on the south shore of Nova Scotia, most of the high temperatures 19 to 22. Now, taking a look at the rainfall outlook, this is for Wednesday into Thursday. This is what we need to see. This is a cold front coming in from the west. It may bring us 10 to 30 millimeters of rain for the Maritimes. It's also really going to cool temperatures for the end of this week. In fact, I've got a feeling chilly for New Brunswick on Thursday and quite brisk on Friday and into the start of the upcoming Thanksgiving long weekend, which so far is looking pretty fair. Mixed sun and cloud even on the Sunday and Monday. For Nova Scotia in the forecast, that rain will be developing a little bit later in the day on Wednesday afternoon, evening, and night, but it moves through and some chillier air in place for both Thursday and Friday. And the upcoming Thanksgiving long weekend starts with sunshine on Saturday, then a mix of sun and cloud for Sunday and Monday. High temperatures around the low to mid-teens. And for Prince Edward Island, the forecast, periods of rain on Wednesday, then a high near 10 on Thursday with a mix of sun and cloud. Mix of sun and cloud for Friday, sunny start to the weekend, and then a mix of sun and cloud for Sunday and Monday. Highs near 12 degrees, Bruce.
Right, you are. Wake up weather still to come. Next, we'll discuss AI in an important conference coming up in Halifax next year. And we have this story on the scene.
Hey there, it's Brett Matthews from Cape Breton, and I just released my debut album called Tomorrow, and I'm going to tell you about it a little bit later.
Okay, so tomorrow, 7 a.m., get another keyword for Virgin Radio's 5K.
We also have passes to Alderney Landing's Blue Nose Ghost Festival.
You could also win a gift card to St. Louis Bar and Grill. Good luck.
You know, for many years, we've heard the term artificial intelligence, but it's usually in the context of some kind of science fiction. Obviously, that has changed. Not only has the technology arrived, millions of people are already using it in their daily lives. And there's a growing consensus we will not be going back. And many aspects of our lives will be undergoing profound and permanent change. Our guest this evening is from Ireland, but he's in Halifax at the moment to bring attention to a major conference on the topic of AI coming up in the city. Coming up in Belfast in the spring, and we're happy to welcome Martin Muller to the program. I want to thank you so much for coming in tonight. Really appreciate it.
Well, Bruce, thank you. It's great to be back in the great city of Halifax. Of course, Belfast and Halifax are bonded forever by history and heritage. The Titanic dead were brought here, and that always kept us close. Your former Premier, John Savage, born in Belfast, former Mayor, current Lieutenant Governor, born in Belfast.
You're giving all of us a history
lesson. But now we have a more important connection because technology is now linking us. So let's get to that.
Yeah, let's get to that. So tell us about the conference coming up in May. This is ACON Halifax. What is that?
So it's really important that we make sure that artificial intelligence works for us. And everyone is afraid of artificial intelligence, but in fact it's just another tool. And what we need to make sure is that we deploy it in a way which is a benefit to us. So not only for big internet companies to make money, but to provide better elder care to provide better health care, in this part of the world, very important to support minority languages. There are many things that AI can do if we deploy it in a responsible, ethical way. And AI Con Halifax is building on an international brand that we started in Belfast. We have a large AI conference there. We also organise a conference in Silicon Valley every year. But now we want to pivot towards Canada, because Canada, there's been some trouble here in North America recently, and Canada's looking east, and we're always looking west. So why not try and rebuild that bridge that the Salvages started, that John and Mike started between Halifax and Belfast with this conference?
So the Irish conference that just wrapped up last week, I understand, divided into two basic themes, starting with AI now, followed by AI next. What kinds of things were attendees hearing about at the conference?
Well, what we're hearing primarily is that we have the ability to create AI which serves the people. So Belfast is now a technology centre. 30 years ago, Belfast was the byword for bombs and trouble. It's been transformed by a miraculous peace process, and we now have a really strong technology sector, and the leaders of that sector are able to say how they are attracting international jobs. Bank of America just announced another 1,000 jobs for Belfast, and that's because we are making sure that our young people who are already software engineers, that they're trained in this new AI revolution. So that's AI today, but AI next has to be autonomous cars. It has to be finding ways to increase the number of jobs, not to decimate jobs. How do we make sure that when companies around the world are looking where to invest, you want to make sure when they say they want to invest in Halifax that you have the talent that is trained up in AI to make a real difference. So
it's not just the jobs, though, as you know, and you kind of alluded to this earlier. There's the ethical aspect to all of this. How do we ensure that AI going forward has the safeguards to protect us from machines who might think eventually that they don't need us anymore?
Well, I think we'll have to part ways with the American way. The American model is it's just freewheeling. It's a Wild West. They do whatever they want.
Sure.
In the EU, they have an AI Act. They have AI regulation. And they're saying to companies, there are certain things you must do. These tools must not be able to create deep fakes. They must not be able to destroy communities. They must not be able to encourage young people to self-harm. There are very basic regulations, and Europe is saying that we can be a world leader. The European Union is saying they can be a world leader in AI, but have it regulated, make sure it works for people. And the US, they have a slightly different approach, and I think that Canada is finding its way in the AI world. It's certainly going to be part of the AI club because of your technology prowess. But I think also Canada wants to move more towards AI working for people rather than people working for AI.
Right, although, as you say, there would be a big loophole there until the Americans get on board as well.
Well, even yesterday, the European Union was saying they don't want to be dependent solely on AI companies from America. So what Europe has to do is has to have data centres. I can't think of a better place on the globe to build data centres than Nova Scotia, with your ability to have renewable energy, which of course the data centres need.
Midwest, sure.
And America, of course, is a great centre of innovation, a great centre for capital. It is where the big AI companies, the Anthropics, the OpenAI are based. But the rest of us have to have a say in this as well. And I think we need to really stand up as sovereign nations, as sovereign countries, and say that we will decide how AI is deployed in our societies and in our communities. Could want to make our communities stronger. And the lesson from the internet revolution is that there were a lot of downsides from that we weren't told about.
Sure.
And we want to avoid that. So let's work our way forward with the AI companies as well. But let's make sure we get a way forward that brings the full benefits of AI in every aspect of our lives, but doesn't destroy or undermine the strong communities we're building up.
I have about 30 seconds left. I understand, and you've kind of alluded to this as well, you believe that this conference will help bring our cities even closer together.
Well, absolutely, and it's for the entire region. We hope people from across Nova Scotia will come to this conference on the 20th of May next year, learn about what's happening in AI, but also shine a spotlight on the possibility to reignite the bonds between Belfast and Halifax as two great technology cities.
Are tickets available yet?
Not yet, but we're having a luncheon tomorrow in the Art Gallery in Nova Scotia to launch the event, and they'll be available next week.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us.
Bruce, thank you.
Really interesting conversation. Martin Mueller is a well-known journalist, author, and politician from Ireland in the region, of course, to make people aware of that big conference coming up in Halifax next spring. ACON Halifax takes place May 28th of next year. Okay, stay with us. We'll be right back. In the Lifeline tonight, how older adults can restore optimal well-being. CTV's Amanda Debison has the Lifeline.
A new Canadian study says emotional well-being is just as important as physical health for longevity. Researchers looked at more than 8,000 people over 60 and found 1 in 4 were able to deliberately improve their health and happiness in just 3 years. The key factors were social support, positive mindset, and healthy habits. Experts say it's about focusing on healthy habits for the whole person. They believe the findings could change how we approach aging in the years ahead. The study was published in the journal PLOS ONE. Researchers from McMaster University in Hamilton, as well as MIT, have developed a new antibiotic that could change the way doctors treat Crohn's disease and other forms of inflammatory bowel disease. The drug is the first of its kind and is designed to target harmful bacteria in the gut without wiping out the good bacteria that keep the microbiome healthy. The breakthrough is paired with another first, the use of artificial intelligence to predict exactly how the new drug works, a step that normally takes years and millions of dollars to complete. The antibiotic is now being prepared for possible human trials within the next 3 years. The discovery comes at a time when Canada faces a looming IBD crisis. That's according to a global study earlier this year. With Health and Medical News, I'm Amanda Debison for the Lifeline.
On the scene now with Katie, and we're going to start with new music from a popular Cape Breton artist.
Yes, Bruce, Brett Matthews. He's released his debut album, and it's one that proves he's much more than just a one-genre artist. Brett Matthews has quickly become one of the East Coast's most talked about new artists. Brett first caught attention about 5 years ago when Classified helped launch his career.
If I died today.
Since then, he's grown from newcomer to seasoned performer.
I've been doing it for a number of years now, so I'm more comfortable with what I'm doing, and yeah, some new opportunities are popping up, and yeah, it's all exciting.
Hard work paid off at this year's ECMAs, where he took home Country Release of the Year.
You always think about being rewarded for the work you put in when it comes to music, and it's just very nice to get something like that.
Now, Matthews has stepped into new territory. His debut record.
We'll hear a bit of acoustic, folk, a bit of hip-hop elements.
Tomorrow blends multiple genres and big-name collaborators.
I wrote a couple of the songs with David Miles, as you know. Classified, he produced the whole thing. And Rhea May I'm part of it. It's, a lot of friends.
Brett says this album is not about one sound.
The running joke with me is I put out music and every song sounds different than the last one. So, I won the Country Release of the Year for ECMAs, but I don't necessarily think I'm a country artist, if that makes sense. Don't take it back. But it is multi-genre, and it's just kind of the way I've always done things.
There's no set theme, but the project reflects his life and imagination.
Some of these songs, they're personal to me. Others are stuff I imagine in my head.
And for Brett, tomorrow isn't just about music. It's about connection.
I just want people to enjoy what they hear, and maybe it, resonates with them and sticks to them.
What a talented individual.
Isn't his voice you can't stop listening. The first time I heard him, I was instantly in love with his voice.
Nice.
And him as a person, he's just awesome. Good Cape Bretoner.
Always.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, gotta love it.
Yeah. So Tomorrow, which is the debut album from Brett Matthews, is out everywhere now. Go check it out. Lots of different stuff on there, and it's just all good.
You don't have to
All
wait
good.
till tomorrow to get them.
To hear Tomorrow. That's right.
And punk rock legends, The Offspring, they're coming back to the Maritime.
Yes, the band just announced their supercharged worldwide in 26 tour. You know this one, Bruce.
Oh, sure. I was just humming it on my way to work.
Fans can catch them February 23rd at the Avenir Centre in Moncton and February 24th at the Scotiabank Centre in Halifax. And they're bringing along special guests, Bad Religion. Tickets to see The Offspring in both Moncton and Halifax go on sale this Friday morning, 10 a.m.
And I suspect they'll be gone very, very quickly.
Yeah, this is a popular band. I've seen them before. I know I interviewed them, I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know how long it's been since they were here, but they've definitely been here before, and they put on a great show.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, we'll step aside with a look at tonight's primetime lineup.
With Crash and Sarah Betts.
Pretty sure we're faking it in our family photos. More on that tomorrow morning.
Plus, more Dream Big keywords to win you $20,000 this week.
On the markets today, the Dow ended the day down 63 points. Your morning cup of coffee will cost you a little more if you get your brew from Tim's. B&M Bloomberg's Morella Fernandez has more on that.
Tim Hortons is raising its coffee prices for the first time in 3 years. The coffee chain will charge 1.5% more per pour, or about 3 cents a cup. Tim Hortons' input costs have risen, with the price of coffee beans alone more than doubling in the last 3 years. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down a fraction to 71.68. West Texas Intermediate crude is up to 61.34. Western Canadian Select is up to 49.48, and the TSX hit another record close again today, gaining 60 points and ending the day at 30,531. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
Thank you, Morella. Now we'll head outside to Kalen for a look at the wake-up weather out there on the deck.
Yeah, thank you, Bruce. There's not too many October evenings where when I'm out here in a suit jacket, I'm feeling a little overdressed, but that's the case this evening. It is very warm out here. Let's take a look at our viewer picture for tonight. I'm getting lots of great fall color pictures sent in. This one is out of New Brunswick. It was sent in by Dean and Andrea Bell. I want to thank Dean and Andrea very much for sharing. It's Howland Ridge, New Brunswick. Great view of the landscape there. You can see all those fall colors. It's a horse out in the field. As for Howland Ridge for tomorrow, mostly sunny, very warm, high temperature, 27 degrees. Day planner for tomorrow. First thing in the morning, maybe some fog patches around. A mild to warm start to the day. Early morning temperatures around the low to mid-teens. And then for the afternoon, a lot of high temperatures, mid to high 20s. That's away from the coast. On parts of the coastline, it'll be closer to the low 20s, especially the Bay of Fundy coastline in New Brunswick and the Atlantic coastline of Nova Scotia because of that breezy southwest wind that'll be a little bit more onshore for those locations. Bruce.
All right, thank you, sir. Finally tonight, a corn maze in western New Brunswick is paying tribute to a legendary Canadian rock band, Blue Rodeo.
Been a fan ever since I can remember. I mean, since Blue Rodeo started. I remember listening to them in my tractor. Someone gave me a tape.
It's beautiful. I mean, we just saw pictures of it a couple of days ago, and it's truly amazing, beautiful.
Sure is. The Hunter Brothers Farm in Florenceville has created a 6-acre puzzle celebrating the band's 40 years together. The farm has been creating corn maze art for a quarter of a century now, with previous nods to other Canadian icons, Gordon Lightfoot, Stan Rogers, and Terry Fox. Once they think of the design, they work with a graphic designer to draw it all out, and then an engineer comes along plotting out exactly where they need to remove the corn. It is amazing work, and congratulations to Blue Rodeo as well. All right, that is the program for this Monday night. CTV News Atlantic.ca is updating right around the clock. I'm Bruce Frisco in for Todd Battis tonight, and I'll be back with your next newscast at 11:30 this evening. Thank you for watching this one. Have a good night. Hope to see you soon.
CTV News, the Maritime's #1 newscast.